Uh, this is Schwartz Tavern. As I mentioned, it's started in 1763 by James Williams. So it wasn't a tavern; it was a residence in the very beginning. And this is mainly the focal corner, the center of the building. The two wings are added at different dates. Mr. Williams will pass away in 1789, and his wife will eventually take over and sell the property due to taxes, and sell it to Mr. John Schwartz. Now, Mr. Schwartz and his wife will live here, and then up until about 1796, he has decided to now turn his residence into a tavern. The question is, what led him to create this as a tavern? Well, over where the antique mall is, there was a tavern there by the name of Schwartz Tavern. That was built in 1792. But I think the main reason it led to the creation of the tavern was the fact that right where the hardware stores, major crossroads was developed, what we call 460 and 40 today. So he's probably looking at, I got all the major crossroads, I got people going to be stopping right through there. Add this addition, I have the tavern, he's got the tavern. Boom, blacks and whites began. And of course, you know, as I mentioned, blacks and whites. It was named Blacks and Whites after the two taverns. White's Tavern and Schwarzenegger is black. This would remain basically a small village all the way up until 1870. All that it consisted of was the tavern, blacksmith shop, doctor's office, and a wheelwright shop. That was it up until 1870, and that's when the town grew. That story comes later. The paneling in here is original. It's done like that upstairs also. We're going into the next room. This is the entertainment room. This was set up for men only. Women and children not allowed due to smoking, drinking, and gambling. So ladies would probably stay in there. That door could be closed, and then all access in and out could be through that door. Locals could come in. You want to go out and check your horse, go use the necessary house. Boom, you go out that way. And then this way upstairs door would lead you to the rooms upstairs where you sleep at night. A lot of land deals, business transactions took place over Mother Vale with a glass of wine. Keep in mind that Southern hospitality meant the fact that, you know, locals would need to find out information. Very few newspapers, very few people could read and write, so therefore strangers were a source of information. Later in the evening, after the gentlemen had decided to go to bed, they go upstairs. Keep in mind the fact that we now, when we go to get a motel, we basically had a private room, private bed. No such thing existed. In those days, basically, rates were based on how many people you get in the bed. Or in 1820, for 75 cents one person, 50 cents for two, and 25 cents for three. If you couldn't afford that, you slept on the floor for 10 cents the house provided you with a blanket. So just imagine upstairs for a moment. 4 beds is all you can get up there. You got 12 male guests, and then you can figure what's going to happen. All right, show you questions. We'll go to the next room.
Well, those motel rates would certainly be attractive today, right? They'd be 1,000% occupied.
Now, kitchens were always outside due to fires. So therefore, the outdoor kitchen was out to the right outside. It was just taken down during the restoration because basically it was just that and the slave quarters were in bad shape. But the authority decided to create this room as part of an idea of giving what a kitchen would look like. This room basically would have probably been what we consider to be a room for like a parlor, Mr. and Ms. Schwartz, and later on maybe as the ladies who might be traveling. Because when they took down the ceiling to put the the sheetrock up, they found a blacksmith-made hook, and that indicated the fact that there was a chandelier in this room. Chandeliers would not have had in the kitchen, so this had to be an important room. So everything in here was set to look like a kitchen, but keep in mind, they're just too small, and also driven you out of here. All right, we're going to the last part.
Are you starting to feel yourself transform back in time here?
Yeah. Love it.
Your daughter would like this, I bet.
Yeah, she would.
In 1800, Mr. Schwartz now is going to add this as his residence. He's got 4 children, so imagine that's taking away space that he used to rent out for guests. So with the expansion of his family, he's decided to make this his residence. So imagine 4 years he's been making enough money, and he's now has an area for his residence. This would have been a dining area because of the glass panes in the wall and the china cabinet. 2 rooms upstairs, a room that you came in. Could have been a parlor or also a bedroom. 1807, Mr. Schwartz will pass away. His wife will continue operation until the oldest son will take over in 1812 after her death. This would be a working tavern all the way up until the 1880s. Then in 1886, a family of 11 will come here to live. And then the portrait of General on the wall over there, Wilson Bill Anderson was the last owner in 1908. He'll pass away in 1956. And then after that, the house basically remained in decay until the town pressured someone of the family heirs to do something about it. And they gave a certain amount of money to help get it started. And then the Schwartz Tavern Authority started getting money to help rebuild and restore this building. The section right in here was added. They basically, imagine this for a moment. This building, that building was separate. That was open space. But in around 1850 to 1860, someone ended up adding this right here to make and opening up an entrance way so that basically have free access to the entire building. And when we go into all the other.
Well, I wanted to actually kind of get an idea here about this is a timely and untimely thing, but we talked about this tavern and the reason it was restored and fixed up in the first place. I understood that Mrs. Harris, is that who that was?
Right, Arlene Harris.
Tell us
and
a bit about
a
that.
large group of people known as the Schwartz Tavern Authority, got together and began to raise money to help restore this building. And so that's why I mentioned why we have it today.
Right.
The town basically maintains it. Schwartz Tavern Authority puts, they takes in the donations, also takes care of the interior of the building, but basically it belongs to the town.
So the idea of really, as we kind of were working on this Blackstone Wine Connectivity Fest, you've had the Blackstone Wine Fest now. Would this be what you're?
This has been last year was the second year. This will make up.
Okay, so the third, everything you want to grow, and this thing I believe, guys, is growing pretty big. But one of the things I think had been suggested, and it really seemed very timely, with unfortunately her death, was that had she been sick for a while or
off and on?
Right.
She was a very strong woman. She was in her 90s.
I bet she was. So the idea of having a nice open house, kind of a reception here before the event on Saturday, October 17th, would seem to befit her honor, I would say. Pretty well on that in there. So what are, just kind of curious, what are some of the ideas and plans and things in a perfect world, as they say? We don't have one, but and that's good. We wouldn't advance. But you would like to see done and happen here if you.
Well, eventually, vision would be, of course, to build the blacksmith